Hi everyone, welcome to another tutorial on C language. Today we are going to learn about C tokens. Firstly, suppose if I ask you, how do you construct a wall? Okay, what will you answer? You will say that you will take some bricks and you will place them together and then you will construct a wall like this. Okay, so the bricks are basically the building blocks of the wall which you use to construct the wall. Okay, similarly, I have a sentence. Okay, I want to be a programmer. How did I construct this sentence? I had some words. Okay, I have six words here, and I placed them together and made this meaningful sentence. Okay, so these words are the building blocks of my sentence. Okay, I use these words to construct my sentence. Okay, similarly, tokens are the building blocks of a C program. What I mean by that is you can construct any C program using these tokens. Okay, for example, we have written a small C program which basically prints the sum of two numbers x and y. Okay, so how did we construct the C program? We use tokens. This main is a token. Okay, this parenthesis is also a token. These curly braces are also a token. Okay, and this int x y sum, these are all tokens. So we used all these tokens to build a C program. Okay, now you might be wondering why identifier is written here, why keyword is written here. This is because there are six type of tokens in C language. These are the six types of tokens in C language: keywords, identifiers, constants, string, special symbols, and operators. We'll look at each one of them in the upcoming slides. We will first start with C keywords. If you go to any hotel, you will see some tables marked as reserved. What does that mean? You cannot sit on the table because it is reserved for someone else. Similarly, C keywords are reserved words. Okay? Each C keyword has a specific work. Example, for is used to write a loop. If else is used to make a decision. Return is used to return values from a function. While is used to write a loop. So you cannot use these keywords anywhere except for their specific task. I'll give you an example. Suppose you want to declare an integer variable with the name union. Okay, int union if you are writing. This is completely illegal. Why? Because union is a keyword. You cannot use the same name to declare a variable because this is a reserved word. Okay, it's a keyword. Similarly, if we want to create a function or a structure with the name union, that is also completely illegal because it is a keyword. Now we will look at the second one in the list, that is identifiers. So what is an identifier? C identifiers are nothing but the names we give to variables, functions, structures, etc. Example, if I declare a variable in C, suppose I am declaring a variable called index, this index is nothing but an identifier. As we have seen earlier, int is a keyword, but index is the identifier. This is the name that I have given to the variable, that is an identifier now. Okay. Similarly, I created a function, my function. This void is the keyword and my function is the identifier. This is the name given by Elon Musk to his child. So can we also give whatever name we want to identifiers? No. There are some rules to name identifiers. Firstly, there should not be any spaces in the identifier. Example, if I declare a variable called my variable, this is not allowed because there is space between my and variable. Okay. Second is, an identifier can only have alphabets and digits and underscore in it. There cannot be any other symbols in it. So all these symbols are not allowed in C language to name identifiers. Only alphabets, digits and underscores are allowed. Okay. Next is, the first character cannot be a digit. Example, if I declare a variable called 9cag, it is illegal because 9 is a digit and the first character cannot be a digit. Previously, we discussed that keywords cannot be used as names for variables, functions, structures, etc. That is the next rule. We cannot use keywords as identifiers. So if I declare a variable called int union, it is illegal because union is a keyword and it cannot be used as an identifier. Next rule is that the length of the identifiers should not be more than 31 characters. Next is identifiers are case sensitive. What do I mean by that? Suppose if I declare two variables, int index in small letters and int index in capital letters. These two are two different identifiers because C is a case sensitive language. Okay. Okay. Now our next C token is constants, sometimes also called as literals. What do we understand by the word constant? Something that is not changing, right? Something which is fixed. Similarly, constants in C have a fixed value, and these values cannot change during the entire execution of the program. Okay, now we'll look at how to declare a constant. Constants are declared using the following method. First, we have to write const. Okay, this is a keyword. We are writing const. Then we are giving the type of the constant. Is it integer? Is it character? Or is it a float? Then we are giving the name of the constant. So whenever we want to use this constant in the program, we just need to give this name. I'll give a small example. If I want to create a constant called pi, first I will write the keyword const, then the data type of the constant. Since pi is a decimal value, we are giving the data type as float, and then we are giving the value of the constant, that is 3.14. Okay. As an example, I will write a small program to find the area of a circle. First, I am writing the program without using constants. Then I will write the program using a constant. So without using the constants, to find the area of circle, we just need to write 3.14 into r square. Okay. But if we are using constants, first I'll declare the constant. I'll write const keyword. Then I will write the data type of the constant, and then the name of the constant, and then the value of the constant. Okay. So next time, whenever I want to use 3.14, I just need to write pi. Okay. So there are two advantages of this. First, it improves readability. Second advantage is, suppose if I have a very long number or very long string, okay, and if I have to use it 10 times in my program, okay, so I have to write that long integer or long string 10 times in my program. But if I declare it as a constant, I can have a short name for it wherever I want to use that. Okay, if I'm writing 10 times, I can use just that short name in the 10 places instead of having this really long number. Okay. The next C token that we are going to discuss is strings. Strings in C are nothing but they are an array of characters having null character at the end of the string. Okay. So if you don't know what is an array, you can watch my lecture on arrays. And this null character is nothing but \0. And we are going to learn about strings in complete detail in the upcoming videos. Okay. For now, just understand that strings are nothing but an array of characters having null character at the end of the string. Okay. And another point to remember is characters in C are enclosed within single quotes, while strings are enclosed within double quotes. So if I assign a character variable to value x, I need to give it in single quotes. But if I'm using a character array that is a string, we need to give double quotes here. Okay. The next token we are going to deal with is special symbols. In C language, we have some special symbols which have a specific functionality. Example, we have square brackets. These are used when dealing with arrays. Okay. Next, we have simple brackets. These are used when writing functions and also while calling the functions. Example, printf is a function. While calling, we use simple brackets. Okay. Curly braces. Any piece of code that we are writing in C language has to be enclosed within curly braces. Comma. Comma is normally used to separate more than one statement. Example, when calling a function with multiple parameters, we use the comma to separate all the parameters in the function. Okay. Hash. So every program we are writing hash include stdio.h, right? So these are called preprocessor directives, and we'll deal with preprocessor directives in the upcoming classes. Asterisk. This symbol is used mostly when we are dealing with pointers and also as a multiplication operator. If you don't know about pointers, you can watch my lecture on pointers. Period. That is dot. It is used to access a member of structure or a union. You will deal with structures and unions in the upcoming classes. Next, we are going to deal with operators. Operators are used to perform certain operations. Example, mathematical operations, logical operations, etc. There are different types of operators in C. Okay, arithmetic operators, relation operators, logical operators, assignment operators, increment and decrement operators, conditional operator, bitwise operator, special operators. Okay, we will deal with each and every one of them in detail. First, we are going to see arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are used to perform normal mathematical calculations. Okay, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, etc. Okay, so I wrote some small programs. I'm writing a program to add two numbers. I will use addition operator. Okay, here I used multiplication. Here I used division. Okay. These are very basic things. Next is increment and decrement operators. Increment and decrement operators are used to increment the value by 1. Okay, plus x and x plus both increment the value of x by 1. Okay, minus x and x minus will decrease the value of x by 1. Okay, if x is having value of 10, plus x will make it 11, and when x is 10, minus x will make x as 9. Okay, then what is the difference between this pre-increment and post-increment? This I have discussed in if-else classes. Next is relation operators. These are used mostly in if-else conditions. Okay, if I want to compare whether two numbers are equal, then I have to give if x equal to y. Okay, and if I want to check if both are not equal, I can give x not equal to y. Okay, not equal to symbol is this. And if I want to check if x is greater than y, I'll use greater than symbol. Okay, if I want to check if x is greater than equal to y, then I can use greater than equal to symbol. Next is logical operators. Logical operators are used when we want to combine more than one condition. Before looking at logical operators, all of you know the logic gates, right? So there is AND gate, there is OR gate, there is NOT gate. Okay, what does AND gate do? If A is 1 and B is also 1, then only out will become 1. But if either of them is 0, then the output will become 0. Okay, similarly in logical operators, if I have two conditions, okay, one is x greater than y, another is x greater than z. If both of them are true, then only my output will become true. Okay, otherwise this will return as false. Okay, if either this is false or this is false, it will return as false. Okay, similarly, what does OR gate do? If any of them is 1, the output will become 1. But if both of them are 0, the output will become 0. Okay, similarly, if any of my condition is true, my output will be true. Otherwise, if both the conditions are false, then my output will be false. Okay, NOT gate. If my condition is true, my output will become false. Okay, if I send 1, it will become 0, right? Similarly, if my condition is true, this NOT will make it as false. If my condition is false, this NOT will make it as true. Okay, these are mostly used in if-else statements. Okay, when we want to combine more than one condition. Okay, if I want to combine x greater than y and x greater than z with the AND condition, I can use logical operator AND. Okay, similarly logical operator or NOT operator. Next is bitwise operators. Okay, suppose I have a binary number. The value of this number in decimal is 1, right? So I have written 1 here. Okay, what do I mean by left shift operator is that, example, if I want to left shift by 1, that means I need to shift each and every bit by 1 unit to the left. Okay, so this 1 was here, I will shift it to the left by 1 place. Okay, so it has come to this place now, second place. Okay, now this 0 was in the second place, I will shift it to the left by 1 unit, so this 0 has come to the third position, and this 0 which was earlier at third position will shift to the fourth position. Okay, and in the right side, after this 1 was shifted to the left, it was vacant. No, I inserted 0 in that place. Okay, similarly, if I want to right shift the bits, I need to use the binary right shift operator. Okay, this will shift the bits to the right. Example, if I want to shift my bits to the right by 1 place, I can use right shift operator. Here what will become is this 0 which was on the fourth position will now go to the third position. Okay, and this bit which was in the third position will go to the second position. Then this bit which was in second position, this has come to the first position. Okay, when this last bit was shifted to the right, this place has become vacant, no, that I inserted a 0 here. Okay, so this number in decimal is 2, it has become 1 after I did the right shift operation. This number which was 1 has become 2 when it the left shift operator. Okay, similarly one's complement operator will apply NOT gate to the individual bits. Okay, so this was 0, if I put a NOT gate it will become 1. Okay, similarly this 0 has become 1, and this 1 has become 0, and this 1 has become 0. This was 3, now it has become 12. Okay. Similarly AND operator, okay, it will do bitwise AND. Okay, so the fourth bit here and fourth bit here, and of both of them is 1 and 0 is 0, so the result is 0. Okay, similarly the second place 1 is there, in the second place 1 is there, bitwise AND is 1, so 1 has come here. Okay. Similarly bitwise XOR, okay, what we have to do is we have to XOR the individual bits. Okay, here it is 1, here it is 1, XOR of 1 and 1 is 0, so 0 has come here. Okay, similarly bitwise OR, okay, we are doing OR gate for each bit. Okay, next is assignment operators. Okay, if I want to assign the value of y to x, I will use x equals to y. Okay, and then plus equals to means if I say x plus equal to y, it means x equal to x plus y. It is a short form of writing the same thing. Okay, similarly what happens is it decrements then assigns. Okay, x will become x minus y, and then it will be assigned to x. Okay, similarly x equal to x into y, x equal to x divided by y. Okay. This is bitwise left shift and assign. Okay, what happens is we are doing bitwise shift as well as assigning it to again x. Okay, that's what this left shift and assign is. Similarly right shift and assign, bitwise and assign, etc. Next is conditional operator. I took a special lecture on this conditional operator. You can watch that lecture. I will put the link in the description. Next is special operators. We already saw that asterisk is used for pointers. Okay, next this ampersand also we have discussed in the pointers class. It will return the address of a memory location. I'll put the link of the pointers class in the description. You can check the video to understand more about ampersand. Okay, and the last is size of. Okay, size of is used to return how many bytes my memory location is. Suppose if I take integer, it may return 4 bytes. Okay, if I use character, it will return 1 byte. Okay, if I want to know how many bytes my variable is, I can use size of. Okay. So this marks the end of the tokens class. If you have any questions, please write down in the comment section. Thank you.